Hello students, I hope you are doing well. Now or today I gonna tell you episode 3 Unexpected Invitation. It was now several years after the strange Christmas, and by this time I could read and write a little. As I learned more, I realized that Joe couldn't write and was not able to read well either. Have you never been to school, Joe? I asked one day as we sat by the fire. No, said quietly. My father didn't let me go to school. That's why I didn't learn very much. Pip, he used it to hit me and my mother. It wasn't easy, and my mother was very unhappy. That's why I keep quiet with your sister. خطابیان الفيري بخد حاسي از بوتا خلقا سیه شویجی روکا تا یا پولو یازده بوتا شروع بکم بیجت unexpected invitation داخل سکرنا نچاوره کری نوکه اوه گلک سال چون پشتی اوه کریسمسا سیر و نوکه از شیم پچه که بخوینم و بنویسم دمی از پتر فیر بون ازشنی به حسیان کو جو نشد بنویسد و نشیا باش بخوینجی اره تو نشویا قطاب خانه جو من بسیار جیکی رو روشکی و دم عمل نیزیک آگیری رو نشتی نخیر جو بدنگه که نظم گود باب من نهلات بچه من قطاب خانهش برهندی از گلک فیر نبوم و پیپ اوی هر دم از قطام و دیکا من اف چنده نه افسانه‌ای بو و دی کامن جی و چنده گلک به نخوش بوش بر هندی از به خوبی دنگید که من گل خوشکات اول وری بیشکلی خطابیان she is a difficult woman او آفرتک جیاوازه جو went on و جو بردام بی but when your parents died وقتی دی که و تمرین she looked after you which of the اتت کلو تو بخودان کری and I thought that was very kind و ادبیجم او گلک دلوان بی and گلک چیزک باش بی she is a good woman آفرتک باش بی Pip when I asked وقتی من او خواستی بو هفجینی her to marry me I thought poor little boy مهزرا يقول كيف فقير كده بشيك and I told her to bring you with her to live at my house دخل شوي كنت بين تلقى ما بيجي المعلم I started to cry and I put my arms around you مدى speaker was giddy أمهات ومن دست خوابت انسر ملت joy answer زاندت بي I couldn't imagine finding a better friend از توقعنا كو هوالك باشتر از بشم پیدا كمش في A little later, Pichake Drengiter, Mrs. Joe and Uncle Pamlico arrived. Pichake Drengiter, Khatinjo, Umame Pamlico Gashton, they had been into town together. How to pick well Bajari Bin Gundi. Mrs. Joe took off her coat and looked at me. Mr. Khatinjo. Now, if this boy doesn't thank me tonight, he never will. She cried, Joe and I didn't know what to say. Joe after a moment, Mrs. Joe spoke to me. خاطر جور گل ما خفت Miss Havisham wants you to go to her house she said خاطر هاویشام دوید از بچه مالاوه و اوه گود و خوش کامت بجد Miss Havisham asked you in surprise یعنی surprise و جوی بسیاری کرده هاویشام و گود خاطر هاویشام Yes, Miss Havisham cried my sister خوش کامت کرده هوا She asked Uncle Pamlico if he knew a boy who could go and play at her house very good هکه بشه تاخاش پاملیگو کرد اوی کسی ناز بکت و بین تولیار المالام یار یاب کرد and because Uncle Pamlico is so kind و گلک دلوان بی مامهنه and such a gentleman که کسی برزک بی he told her about Pip اوی بحثی پیپی کرد بالدفعه people stay with Uncle Pamlico tonight دف شمین تلدف Uncle Pamlico دفعی مامه هنه اف شبه tonight and tomorrow he'll play at Miss Havisham الصباحية يار يا بخال مالا خاطين هافيشام بيت and he had better play ودي أبي یادی زانید باشتر تاندی پترتر یادی بخاکت or there will be trouble یعنی چه بتا آریشه she warned ام آگادار کردن هات آگادار کردن طبعا then Mrs. Joe pushed me into the kitchen از کشم بو مطبخ and washed and brushed me از شیشتم و پاکش کردم حوصله‌ای شکر حتی دادنت بی حتی it hurt حتی ایشاندن دیسا then I was dressed in my best clothes و جلکت لاترین جلکرم برمن and given to Uncle Pumblecook از دام مام Pumblecook هاول فیری صحیح و پیش اینگه I was taken to Miss Havisham's big dark house the next morning سپید هیا دیوده از برم مال خاطین هاویشام او مازن و طاری the front door was huge and many of the windows were covered بیشتر درگه مازن بی پیشی مازن بی و گلک پنجر لهبین وی خانی Uncle Pumblecook rang the bell و مامه Pumblecook جرس لیدا a few minutes later چند خولگه که the door was opened by a young woman درگاه تفکش لای جنکه که یانجی کشه که گنج و what name چه ناوی چیه she asked coldly یعنی که ساری بسیار کرد ویکش که بسیار کرد Pumblecook Uncle Pumblecook answered و ناویم Pumblecook مام Pumblecook برسه وایدا and this is Pippa is it مانا the girl said کشکه گود come in Pip ولی جور Pip we moved to go in اما چون جور و but the girl said کشکه گود Miss Havisham doesn't want to see you نوید تبینتن and she refused to let Uncle Pumblecook in نه لابت جور مام Pumblecook she closed the door درگه گرد and then I walked with her into the house ولدیو در گروی امچوند مال و she was beautiful and although she seemed older گل جانبی و هر وسط دیار کشم ماستر I thought she must be about my age منظر که لازم اوه تمدمه بد عمری Inside the house, it was very dark. جور و خانی و گلک طالبی. Our only light was a candle. تنی روناهی مهی جور و شمال بین. The girl was now carrying. و نوکه girl was now carrying our دست دا. کچک نوکه دست کچک دا و شمال کبی. We walked a long way. ام پره و چون سریک بردام and went upstairs. ام چون هوا کردم بود طبقه سرده. As the last she knocked التمایی که she knocked درگه خطا on a door and opened it درگه بکرد go in هر جور و boy she said هر جور و کرو very good I was frightened استرسام but I walked in slowly بلش هیدی که چون جور و it was a large مازنه dark room جورک تاریه which was lit by a few candles و هندک شمال تیوه هاد بین هل کردن I could see a very strange woman مشياس كو يعني تعداي جنكا جالك غريب ببينم هو sitting down or استخار she was wearing a long white wedding dress أو كراسك دريش يه بيكاني البر her hair was covered with white perchاي هاد بياتي بسرد يعني سبي بي two هربصة and she was only wearing one shoe وبتني كده كبيرة بالبيابي again white وسبي بي هربصة جاري Then I realized that she was very old ومنزاني أو جنكك يعني كسك مازنة and and the dress was not white أو كراسة نسبية anymore but was yellow and torn أو كراسة زريبي وحشكو درهاي جبي then she spoke بشنجة وآخفت come closer ولا نزيكتر با let me talk to you بهلاس قلت أبغبم the lady said Look at you. Let me look at you. Second, the lady said, "Awake, kishke good." I walked nearer. As niziktiru, I was afraid to look at her eyes. Lady, khanemi good. At her eyes. Was ترسم مساكر ساكم جاوده. So I looked around me ومساكر دولبرتها on the table. سرمزه. Next to her was the other white shoe. بلا بقدي أسفل سرمزه and some expensive looking jewels. وعندك zero تشتبه بهاي السرويرنا look at me سحكي من said Miss Havisham very good are you afraid to look at a woman يعني بيت ترسيت سحكي جنكاكي who hasn't seen the sun since before you were born أو روش نادي ديرونا هي الروج يعني طاف حتى أولش دم since before you were born. يعني جبالي خدت تبدت. She put her hand to her chest and said quietly. ده سقط أساس إنكو خو هيدي كعود. My heart is broken. دلي مش كاستيا broken and I am so tired. وأسجلك واسطي أيما. يعني كوش فيجيانه نگو شول كده. She looked very unhappy. هر صوتياتي قال يا نكيف خوش for a moment وبهني ده and then spoke again وجاي دي آخر. I would like to see someone playing. ببد أس كسك ببينم وكسك يادي بكت. So play for me وياري أبو مش بكت لعبة بومبكت. I couldn't move and said as نلفيم. Oh God, I am very sorry. I don't think I can play just now. از میگوته از باخداری میگیم از نشیم میگم یادی بکیم. Go to the door and call Estella. گوته هرابو بردرگه گوز استلا بکم. Miss Havisham said, looking at me coldly. Miss Havisham good. Looking at me cold. صح كلمة صاب sorry. I was very afraid. از يلا تصم. But I went to the door, opened it and called. از شوم بردرگه فکر و مگازی کرد. After a few moments چند دقیقه I saw the light from Estella candle as she walked towards the room. وديار که برای غرفه بهاد. Miss Havisham told Stella to come closer. گوته برای نزدیکتر. She held a jewel up to the girl's pretty. She held a jewel of zero zinata up to the girl's pretty brown hair. أفكشكا جان وبرجاوي قهوي and then spoke quietly to her and smiled. تمامتي آخفت الجال بيدنجي وجرنجي. These jewels will be yours أبدي بوتابن one day روجاكي. Now let me see you play card. بلا see you تو استبيم تيادي كي with this boy قال بيكوركي. This common boy أفكركي هني أبي common يعني كان تبيش شائع حاجة كنت يقولوا بكي أبي دي. common تشتغل تبيش قلب كارتد on قلب ديتني. Stella replied. Stella برسف ده. Yes said Miss Havisham. بله وخاتين هاویشام good. قبل بری هنر بین هر دو که بلی کانیت که نوهاج خاتين هاویشام پیلاوی سر میزی. So we began to play cards. اومده سپیکر میادیا بلی کانی کرد. I played badly. من شیوک خراب کرد and Stella laughed at me. و Stella میکنی. She looked at me and cried. صح كلمة و مثلا حاجة كويس قيجي كيف هذا cried وبو جريجتت. His hands are so rough. The set ويجي لك زفر بين on ground and his boots are so heavy. و جزمت وبلاوت ويجي لك جرابين وزن. I felt sad. I'm هستب عزايكر but said nothing ومش نجو. I lost the game. أسياري خسارات بيم. As we started to play the second game, وكي ما دست بيتي أميار يا دويت كان. Miss Havisham said أوي شو قول. She says many terrible things about you. بيشتن أوي قالت تشتن نباش دربارة تدا قوتن. But what do you think of her? But تبوي شد بيجي. I don't want to say. I replied. من أبدا بيجي موسى برسلدا. Tell me in my ear. قهد مدا بيجي. Said Miss Havisham. She is very proud. أو قالك خارازی او خازیده. I whispered مدگوهی داغود. Yes, what else چدی? And very pretty گلک یا جانه. I said anything else تشتاقدی? I think she is very rude. گلک یعنی قاسیه گرانه حسکو نباشه خراب ابو من. And I would like to go home now. من از نوکم بچماله. When you have finished the game وقتی تو یادی خلاص که replied Miss Havisham. Stella won the last game. أبي يا دماغي يجبر and threw the cards down. card أو بليكا دينا خاري on the table. Miss Havisham said شو قول that she expected to see me again. توقع جايدي مبينت و in 6 days. 6 روجت بيدا. Then she turned to Stella and said or Stella زفري وقوتيه. Take him downstairs بخاره before he goes. بدي بشد give him something to eat and drink. شيء بده بخوته وخوات. Stella took me downstairs and out into the light of the garden. از برمج در و الحديقة الباروناهية. Wait here خالفيني بقرا باي كرو. She said and disappeared inside again. جاي دي هندا بيشو جوربا. She came back with some bread. زبدي وهندانان الجال meat and a drink. گوشت وهندك بخارن. Which she put on the ground. أو ديناي سرعردي. Did she think I was a dog? هذه الكلمة الصمة. I was very upset as Gella take home, but I didn't want Stella to see me crying. بله من ببین استلام ببین که از گریم حساب. After she had gone پشتی شوی I cried and cried از گریم and kicked the wall with the heavy boss. حاج که ضربه بحين الديواري دان قوات. she had laughed at أو بيكاني what seemed like ages. حاج که شو نفسي ثماني later Divida still appeared and took me to the front door. از بالما بردرگاهش در و she said you have been crying a lot گلگلی haven't you مانا and you are nearly crying now تنوگهش تقریبا دیگریه. she laughed Kenny and then pushed me through the door and into the icy street. از کشم و اینو حاج که از ده حدا کابوش در و ناف شارعی ناف بفری. said to me I was common از کسی که common یعنی چه حاج که شایع از کسی که بر بالا مسخنات نیاسه. and I had rough hands med dusted men زفرن and both spela woman that I now hated ونكمل كلمة مجيبين I felt sad and shamed از عجز بهم وما هست بشرميكل فيري قطابيان. طبعا هذا خلاك سيجل فيري دماهيت ايتن خدا حس که تگتا پرتوکه هاری کار هبت تو شبدت و بینه پرگاه چرا زاخو و پرگاه جیهان الدهوکه و هر وصا في يوتيوبي لايك بك وشير بك و سابسكرايب بكن و بهوالا جفريكن دا همي ببينن و جي مفادار بن في شيء هني و خطابيان فيري خدا حس که چاوری وانادی بن و بخیر ببینن.